here's a hot new star named Mariah Carey. She decided to become a pop singer when she was just 4 years old, and now at age 20, her dream's coming true as her first top 40 hit climbs 5 notches to number 16.
Casey's Top 40.
Well, that means we're up to the number 1 song of the year on Casey's Top 40, and it's a record-setting smash that puts yet another jewel in the crown of the undisputed queen of the charts in the 90s. It all began quietly enough when an unknown newcomer from New York City released her debut album in 1990. Soon after, the first single from that CD hit the charts. And when it did, it started this 23-year-old singer on her way to superstardom. Not only did that first single, Vision of Love, go all the way to number 1 on the pop chart, in 1990 it became the Song of the Year. The young singer's next single also went to number 1. And so did the next single, and the next one. And to this day, this superstar raised on opera and gospel music is batting 1,000. Every one of the 10 singles she's released has gone to number 1, and no one else in chart history has done that. She's totally dominated the charts in the 1990s with her 10 number 1s, spending a total of 38 weeks at the top of the pop chart. And no one else even comes close. And now she puts yet another jewel in her crown with an international smash that spent 9 consecutive weeks at number 1, making it the biggest song of the year. The number 1 song of 1993 on Casey's Top 40 is Dream Lover by the undisputed queen of the charts in the 90s, Mariah Carey.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm David Perry, sitting in for Casey Kasem. These are the nation's biggest hits by the world's hottest stars. And now we're up to the number 1 song in the USA on Casey's Top 40. It's the latest smash for a superstar who says, quote, I was born to sing. When her father told her not to sing at the dinner table, she got up on the coffee table and sang as loud as she could. This songbird says she was about 4 years old at the time, and she tells the story to prove 2 points: that she has to sing, and that she has a lot of trouble with authority and people telling her what to do. She says this particular incident happened at about the time her parents were getting ready to separate and get a divorce. So there was a lot of tension in the house. This singer says that on this particular evening, she was sitting at the dinner table doing what she loved to do most. She was singing. She says, quote, I was just singing a little song, something I could lose myself in. Well, her father, who was pretty strict about manners, told her singing wasn't allowed at the dinner table. She stopped for a moment, and then softly she began to sing again. Her father told her again not to sing, and again she stopped, only to start again. Her father told her a 3rd time, and this time she didn't stop. In fact, in total defiance of her father's orders, she marched right out of the family dining room into the adjacent living room, got up on the coffee table, and started singing at the top of her voice. Needless to say, she went to bed without supper that particular night, but it didn't matter to her. All that really mattered was that she could sing. 2 decades later, she's singing all she wants, because for the 5th big week, her 10th number 1 in a row is the biggest hit in the land. The number 1 song in the USA on Casey's Top 40 is Hero by Mariah Carey.
Casey's biggest hits.
3 years ago this week, one of the biggest hits in the USA was I Don't Want to Cry by a superstar whose producers have to insist a recording is as good as it can be because she's convinced she can always do it even better. She's one of the most intense perfectionists in the business, a woman who's never satisfied with what she's done. One of her producers, Narda Michael Walden, says that even after a session is long over, she calls him late at night, sure that she can make a verse or a chorus better. He says, quote, she's convinced that if she sings more, maybe she'll go beyond, and in some cases she does, unquote. 3 years ago this week, this perfectionist named Mariah Carey had one of the biggest hits in the USA. Here's Mariah with I Don't Want to Cry.
Casey's biggest hits.
2 years ago this week, one of the biggest hits in the USA was Mariah's tribute to Michael and the debt she says she owes to him. Mariah Carey grew up listening to music by a lot of people, but she says one of the voices she came back to the most often was that of Michael Jackson. Mariah says there was always something so pure, so perfect with Michael's style of singing. Growing up, she wore out lots of albums by the Jackson 5, playing them over and over again. And when she had a career of her own, she wanted to sing one of her favorite Michael Jackson songs as a way of saying thank you to him. 2 years ago this week, that song was one of the biggest hits in the USA.
Casey's biggest hits.
4 years ago this week, one of the biggest hits in the USA was one of the 4 songs that Mariah Carey put on her original demo tape. The demo that began one of the biggest careers of the 90s. It was a demo that Mariah had spent months working on, putting in every minute she could in between working as a waitress in the morning and cleaning up in a beauty parlor at night. When she finally felt it was ready, she had a friend give a copy of the demo to the head of Columbia Records at a party. He listened to it on his car stereo as he drove home, and was so excited by what he heard, he drove back to the party to find the singer on that tape. That was the beginning of a career that began with an amazing 10 number ones in a row, including the song that was one of the biggest hits in the USA 4 years ago this week. Here's Mariah Carey with a song from her demo tape, Someday.
Casey's Top 40.
From Hollywood, this is Casey Kasem, and moving up a notch to number 8 on Casey's Top 40 is Mariah Carey. Recently, she rented an entire amusement park outside New York City for a huge party. She invited 500 underprivileged kids from the inner city and let them go on any ride they wanted to as many times as they wanted to.
Counting down the hits with Casey Kasem.
Rising 2 notches to number 31 is a super singer who was named Favorite Female Pop Artist at this year's Blockbuster Awards. Here's Mariah Carey.
These are the hottest songs in America.
On American Top 40.
All right, it's been a few years since Mariah Carey had a hit on this chart. But in her time away, she dominated the New York bestseller list. She released a memoir back in 2020 titled The Meaning of Mariah Carey, which made it to number 1 on the bestseller list in its first week. And now, in 2025, she's got a hit that could score her a spot on American Top 40. Here's the latest. It's called Type Dangerous on the Verge track.
I've never been afraid of flying like I'm dangerous.
That's on the verge of making our chart. Mariah, Type Dangerous on AT40.
American Top 40.
Is back in a sec.